Caller guys this morning, they woke up and their 15-year-old male was not in the bed. We had a white male, 3 blonde hair, approximately 5 foot, went from his phone
So,
down.
well, one of the reasons it took us a little bit longer to do some of these interviews, okay, and this is before we started doing interviews and talking with media, we were kind of advised, hold off, don't do that. Well, eventually got to the point we needed to start talking to the media.
Mm-hmm.
The parents, myself, Katie, and Seth, all decided we made a pact in the beginning. Hey, if we're going to do this, we're going to keep each other in the loop. We're going to talk to each other and ask. We're not just going to go out here and do our own thing. Okay. That has always been our pact. You know, we would call Seth and say, hey, initially he didn't want to do any type of interviews, and we understood that.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, I said, hey, man, do you want to like phone in with us? Do you want to come to the house and we'll do this as a group? What do you want to do? We've tried and we want to do this as a group. You know, unfortunately, you know, somewhere along the way, we've all kind of gotten off track, and he's kind of gone out and done his thing. We've kind of done our thing. Mrs. Rogers done her thing. I think his sister may have done something. I mean, but it's everybody's getting the word out.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's doing any justice to anybody. No, absolutely not. All it did was just start more garbage and rhetoric and crap. That's all it did. You know, Seth, if he was to listen, it would have to be a conversation, him and I, absolutely nobody around. I wouldn't even want a cell phone in mine or his possession. Nothing.
Right.
Because there's absolutely no way that that conversation needs to leave him or myself. If Katie is present, then it would be the three of us. But, you know, it just comes right back to getting all the stuff washed away, all the YouTubes and everything pushed off to the side, and just coming right back to the basics and stick to the basics. You know, it worked.
Right.
It was great for the first 2 days, and day 3 it fell apart, and then from there forward it has just stayed apart.
yes, I did tell you Sebastian was not excited about going to his father's house because online school.
Online
Seth
school.
was aware of this because Seth stood in my house with me, Katie, and Sebastian in my kitchen and had this conversation where Seth asked his son about, you don't want to go to online school? And Sebastian's retort was, no, I don't. But
Okay.
I don't really care about playing tit for tat. I understand that this may be a reason why he wanted to run away, so to speak, if that's the case.
Right.
This may be a reason why he wanted to run away, so to speak, if that's the case.
Right.
But we're not going into this. We're not going to play this tit for tat
Man,
on social media. We're not doing this.
Okay, Seth, go ahead.
Chris, unbeknownst to you, had already talked to Sebastian. He knew this wouldn't be a permanent thing. And me and him had already spoken.
Well, that right
After
there's a
the
conversation
and me
you
and
should have
Chris,
had with
we had
Katie and
already
myself
spoken.
about what your plans were. What Seth was saying is that if I had known the conversation that him and Sebastian had, then I would know the whole thing. But the downside is that's where Seth should have had that same conversation with me and Katie, and that didn't happen. But this goes right back to here's the thing. If you're saying that because he didn't want to go live with his dad, he potentially ran away, is that a possibility? Sure, we'll put that out there.
Okay.
But quite honestly, what goes on between Seth, me, his mom, and our households is none of the public's business. If it had something to do with his disappearance, I would understand that, but it doesn't.
Well, we don't know that.
Well, I understand that. That's why we're making this clear.
The problem is you're seeking custody of your daughter, and if you don't want Sebastian around your daughter, just how was that going to work, Chris? Because now Sebastian is missing. That's why people want to know. So that was why I asked.
No, I understand. And I can see where people's correlations are trying to put 1 and 2 together. Unfortunately,
Right.
it's 2 different puzzles.
Okay.
It- my case with my ex-wife, that is a whole totally different situation. Um, at some point, eventually, I can let that out. Right now, that's still in an ongoing court battle. And to be honest with y'all, because of all of this with Sebastian, it has actually caused some issues in that court case, which unfortunately it is what it is. Um, and hopefully I'll have some good news and I'll let you guys know. Hopefully something here soon.
Okay.
So Sebastian was last seen on February 25th, but was reported missing Monday morning on February 26th. That interview was on March 17th, not even a month after Sebastian disappeared.
We've tried and we want to do this as a group. Unfortunately, somewhere along the way, we've all kind of gotten off track, and he's kind of gone out and done his thing. We've kind of done our thing. Mrs. Rogers done her thing. I think his sister may have done something. But it's
Angela, what do you all think should happen is to the person if somebody abducted Sebastian?
That is not for us to determine. That is, if somebody has Sebastian, all I'm going to say is that is nothing that we want to be a part of until that is legal. That is law enforcement agency. That has nothing to do with us. We just
They go to jail, so I don't. They go to jail, so I don't.
So those are statements by Sebastian's mom and stepfather, Chris and Katie Proudfoot. We haven't heard much from law enforcement in the past year, but they did update. His last known sighting was on the 25th of February, a Sunday, and he was reported on Monday the 26th that he went missing. So please share the updated information and flyer in case anybody has any knowledge, so they can call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Again, let me know what you think in the comments, and I can make more parts to this video. Much love.